Hi guys, thanks so much for joining me on another Created for Him by Him. I'm Addie, and today we're going to talk about validation. And I know as people, it's so easy to struggle with the need to feel validated, and this is something that I was talking with my little brother about over break recently, and then again with a friend last night on the phone, and I was like, you know what a great topic, right? We're talking about it a lot, it's on the top of my mind, why not talk about it? So me and my brother were talking specifically about the need to feel validated by in a relationship, and it's not necessarily like by the person but by the family, if that makes sense. So like when you're dating someone, I don't know about you guys, but I always like really wanted the family to like me. So I was constantly wondering about like their opinions and constantly trying to like, I don't know, hoping that they would like me. And my little brother is now dating, which is absolutely crazy to me. And he was talking about this, and he wasn't saying that like their family doesn't like him or anything. He was just saying that like sometimes he starts to worry about that, and then he has to catch himself and he has to remember like what's important. And so we were talking about that, and I was like, what I learned and what I wish I had known in the past is when you're seeking after Jesus and you're seeking God and you're in his word and you're doing like what he tells you to do every day, other people's opinions don't matter as much. You don't necessarily need their validation because you know that you're doing what God wants you to do and you're right where God wants you to be. And I'm like, I wish I had known that in the past, because I feel like maybe I wouldn't have overthought as much as I did about like what people's opinions were of me. And he was like, yeah, I actually agree with you. He's like, and I was going to say that I found that whenever I'm like reading my Bible and stuff every day and I'm doing what I know that Jesus wants me to do, he's like, I don't really need their validation. Like, it doesn't really matter. So if like comments are made or anything like that, he's like, I just can move past it because it doesn't matter to me because I know that I'm where God wants me to be. And I was like, that's really good. I'm like, that's great. And the fact that you have that wisdom already is just like, that's awesome. So we were just talking about that, and it made me really stop to think. I'm like, okay, if I struggled with that, if he struggled with that, maybe that's something that other people have struggled with. And maybe you don't struggle with it in relationships or like the family liking you or something like that. Like maybe it's more of just like validation about your appearance or validation about your accomplishments, or like, okay, me personally, I don't really care about validation about my appearance, but I want validation about like my achievements, if that makes sense. So like if someone says like, oh, I'm so proud of you, you've been working so hard on XYZ, I'm like, thank you so much. Like, and I love that, right? Like, let's just be honest, we're all people, okay? But if they're like, oh, you look so good, like, I'm like, thank you, but like me personally, I don't know, it just like, it's nice, but I would rather have like, I get my validation more, I guess, from my achievements than what I look like. And that shouldn't be the case. Like, neither of them should be the case, obviously, because our validation should be found in Jesus and our identity should be found in him. But it can be easy for that to not be the case. So my friend and I, when we were talking specifically about finding your validation on social media, and how so many girls will post so many things and they just want that like instant gratification of like instant like, you're so pretty, you're so this, you're so that, And my friend was saying, he's like, it's so sad that girls feel the need to do that. And it's girls and guys, honestly. I will say it is mostly females because we're the ones who kind of run Instagram. But we were just talking about that, and he was like, it doesn't, like, it's just so unnecessary. And he's like, why is that, like, what they crave? And I'm like, I don't know. But the thing is it's because as people, we naturally want other people's validation. And I just wanted to kind of talk about how in 1 Samuel, Samuel is looking to anoint a king. And he looks at all of Jesse's sons, and he's going through, and he's like, well, this one's really strong, or this one's really tall, or this one's really good looking. And God says, don't look on the outward appearance. Like, you look on the outward appearance, but I'm looking on the heart. And God ends up picking the youngest son, right? The one who's the shepherd. And I just think that as people, we forget sometimes that God's looking on the heart. He is not looking at what we're wearing. He's not looking at what we look like. He's not looking at our latest social media posts, right? He's looking at, are we seeking him? Are we finding our fulfillment in him? Is our validation coming from him? Because when it is, and when we are full of him, our validation does come from him. So it really doesn't matter what everyone's opinions and what their thoughts are, whether that's on your appearance, whether that's on your relationship, whether it's on the job that you choose to do, right? So I just wanted to kind of talk with you guys about how I do understand how that can be a struggle, and it's come up a couple times in the last few days for me, and so it's just been on my mind, and I wanted to remind you that your validation should come from Jesus, because he created you, and he created you just the way that he wants you to be. And even if no one were to ever compliment you again, God made you how he wants you. So be full of him and be a light to other people, because there's always going to be someone that's better looking, right? There's always going to be someone who's in better shape than you. There's always going to be somebody who has more friends. So don't let your validation be found in people. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me on Created for Him by Him. I'm Addie, and I would super duper appreciate if you would like, subscribe, comment. If you have a topic that you want me to start studying so that I can, talk about it next week, let me know. I would love to do that. Anyways, have a super great day.